Hi everyone, it's Trish here. I hope you're all well. Now I'm here to tell you about assessment task 14, which you need to complete this week. Okay, so on Wednesday you need to begin assessment task 14, which is read information texts. So the first thing you need to do is to complete the cover page like you did last time. Put your name, ID, sign and date. Make sure you sign and date the last page and take photographs when you finish. You all did that last week, so thank you very much. So let's go through the questions and what you need to do first of all. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to read the story. So it's called The Real Cost of Travel. So it's about the effects of travel on the environment. Okay, and there are some examples of that, of the impact in this story. So you need to read through it carefully. You can use a dictionary, that's totally okay. And then you need to answer the questions. So let's have a look at the questions. These questions are very similar to the practice task that you did. This is why I said that you should go back and review the questions, the reading task from the reading task, because some of the questions are very similar and some of the questions are very similar to the questions you did in your quiz, which is why I also said to review the quiz. Okay, so let's have a look at the questions. So number one, what is the text mainly about? So you have to be careful to make sure that you answer it correctly. So what is this text about? Now, questions two, three. Oh, look, there's actually a typo there. Now, I didn't do these tasks, so it's not my fault, okay? So I just noticed that the numbering is incorrect, but just ignore the numbers, it's fine. Just answer the questions, it's all okay. So what is happening to the penguins in Patagonia and why? So what's happening with the penguins? You know, what's going on and why is it happening? Why do climbers need to be educated when they visit Mount Everest? Because what are the climbers, you know, what are tourists doing to Mount Everest? So think about, so why do they need to be educated when they visit? You know, what's the reason, okay? Think about what's happening on Mount Everest. What is one of the reasons that travel and tourism is so popular in Europe? So why is it popular? Well, not at the moment because of this current situation, but we're talking about coronavirus. So why is travel and tourism so popular in Europe? So think about that, and it states it in the article. Okay, so you only have to give one reason, okay? Now, the next one's a true or false, so you need to make sure you read the questions carefully and answer true or false. We've done those before. Next page. Okay, now we start looking at parts of speech, which we have practiced. Okay, so you need to identify first the conjunction in the sentence, the verb. Now, I had this kind of question in the quiz, and when I explained it, I made it really clear that you must include just the main verb, the present participle of the verb. Okay, so these teams have also been educating other climbers. So it's not the whole verb form of what tense it is. Okay, it's just asking you what is the verb, the main verb, the present participle verb in that sentence. Okay, and if you did the quiz and you listen to my answers, then you should get that question correct. Okay, so I've been trying to help you as much as I can. Okay, the next one looks at the nouns, so list a noun, and the next one is an adjective. And again, I gave a very similar question. I put a very similar question in the quiz that I gave you, okay? So I have been trying to help. So if you've done all your work and you paid attention, then this shouldn't be too hard, okay? Now, the next question, which on here is question 6. In the following quote taken from the text, underline an example where the passive is used. We have done a lot of work on the passive, okay? So let's have a look. This is made worse because cruise ships visit the same places so many times. A very similar question was in the quiz. Now remember, the passive is formed by the verb to be plus the past participle. So you need to look, where is the past participle in this sentence, okay? And the form of the verb to be. Okay, so the tense of the sentence is determined by the verb to be. Okay, so it's not that hard because we've gone through this. Okay, so you need to write the passive form. Okay, so the verb to be and the past participle. Okay, so underline it. Okay. Write the tense used in the following examples. Now, again, there were practice examples in the quiz, so you need to look at it and determine what is the tense. Okay, is it the present simple? Is it the present continuous? Is it the past simple? Is it the past continuous? Is it a perfect tense? They're pretty easy. Okay, I'll be disappointed if you get this wrong. Okay, so our rubbish is affecting. So what form, what tense is that? Okay, and flights are not very expensive. So you need to name the tense. So you can't just say present. Okay, it has to be like if it's present simple past, or past simple, present continuous, past continuous. You need to have the right form. Okay, you need to have the right name, otherwise you won't get it right. Okay, now this one may be a bit tricky. So the words in bold, okay, so you have to write the meaning of the words in bold. You can use a dictionary to help you, but try to understand it within the context. So for example, greener way of getting around. So what does greener mean? It doesn't mean that the grass is green. So greener means something. Okay, so if you think about getting around, so moving around, like say for example traveling, you know, what's a better way of traveling by car? You could you know, walk or ride a bike. So something is green, it's clean, it's fresh. I can't give you the answer. Okay, so think about what does it mean, a greener way of getting around, of transporting yourself, you know, or of transportation. Okay, now international climbers are international, that's not really that hard. Long haul flights. So what are long haul flights? Okay, long haul flights. We have domestic flights and we have long haul flights. So you have to know what long haul flights are. Okay, now I can't give you any more information, otherwise I've given you too much already. Now label the following parts of the information text, the real cost of travel. So you have to look at the text and label. So you actually have to write on the actual form. I'm not on the form, on the reading task. Okay, so here you need to label, like for example, the title. So the title, the heading, a subtitle that goes below the heading, the conclusion. So obviously the conclusion is the very end, you know, the very last part. Okay, the very last part, the conclusion. Okay. I think it asks images, so you can see the images. What else does it ask you? Just a second. Headline. Okay, so you've got your headline, your conclusion, your image, headline, introduction, and a subheading. So, so your subheading is, you know, for each paragraph there's a subheading, and also I think, let me see. Okay, the conclusion, you know, is at the end, and the introduction is at the start. So if you have a look here, you have your title. Okay, so you've got three main paragraphs, okay, as you can see, with subheadings and images, and your introduction is right at the very start, okay, and then your conclusion is right at the very bottom. Now, we haven't had a chance really to go through this in class, so that's why I'm helping you a little bit more. But yeah, so you need to label, okay? So this is not your conclusion. This is not your introduction. The introduction is at the start. Conclusion is at the very end, okay? So just think about, you know, think about that, okay? I'm not going to give you any more information. Okay. Anyway, don't worry too much, just do your best, okay? Okay, now, underline the topic sentence in paragraph 3. So the topic sentence is, we haven't had a chance to talk much about topic sentences, but topic sentence is the first sentence of a paragraph that introduces the paragraph, okay? It tells you what the paragraph is about, okay? So a topic sentence is one sentence only. It's not two, it's just one. So it's the first sentence of the paragraph that introduces the topic of the paragraph, okay? So you'll need to know that for your environment report. You would have noticed if you read the environment report that the topic sentences are in yellow, okay? So the topic sentence of paragraph 3. So paragraph 3. So that's the, one intro, 1, 2, 3. That's paragraph 3. That one there. Okay. All right. Now, let's continue quickly. Okay, so the last question involves 2 paragraphs. Okay, so now the first paragraph is about what is the writer's opinion about the effect tourism has on the environment, and give 2 examples. So what does the writer think about tourism on the environment? So what impact does it have on, what is the effect of tourism? So obviously from the article you can see that the writer thinks that tourism has had a negative impact, okay? That it has a negative impact on tourism, okay? Let me repeat that. That tourism has had a negative impact on the environment. It's very late and I'm a bit tired. Okay, so it's evident from the article that the writer is not happy about what tourism is doing to the environment. So, so you need to say that, and then you need to provide examples that support his idea that tourism isn't good for the environment. Okay, so examples could include, like he talks about cruise ships dumping waste and killing wildlife, rubbish and equipment being left behind by visitors to Mount Everest, construction of resorts along the coast, and pollution from air travel. So you need to include 2 examples. So yes, you could say that the writer is concerned about the negative effects of tourism on the environment, and he provides examples such as and then you can provide 2 examples. Okay, so that's what you need to do for the first paragraph. So you need to answer the question. I've just given you lots of help. The second part is your opinion. So in your opinion, what are 2 things that can be done to make sure tourists don't damage the places they visit? Why is it important? Okay, so, well, things you could, you can think about things you can do. Obviously if you're going to a tourist place, you should put your rubbish in the bin. If there's no bin, take it home. So don't leave rubbish, don't litter, okay? Respect the environment. Don't start, destroying trees or breaking off branches or, taking rocks or something away from where you're visited. So respect the places that you're visiting. And then perhaps don't drive, maybe take transport or ride your bike. And also educate, educate tourists. So tourists should be educated about what they can and can't do. Okay, so they're just some examples. And why? Why is it important that, we make sure that tourists don't damage the places they visit? So why is it important? Why do we need to look after the environment? Why do we need to do the right thing? Okay, because we need to preserve or protect the beautiful places that we visit. We need to protect the environment for the future, because if we don't do that, then we won't be able to visit these beautiful places. There are many places overseas, for example, that are getting destroyed because of tourism, because people are leaving rubbish and they're destroying it. Like, for example, climbing Ayers Rock. People were climbing and not fully respecting the place, and now they've decided no one can. It's a sacred place, and no one can climb it anymore. Or there's certain historical places around the world that you can no longer touch or get really close to because people weren't respecting those places. So we need to do that to preserve our environment and also protect these beautiful places for the future. So I've given you a lot of help, so I hope that this helps you, but that you pay attention, but try to obviously put this all in your own words, okay? And I am helping you a little bit more because we're not in class and we haven't really had the opportunity to go through this together. So, but I do expect you to read the article and answer the questions carefully. Okay, so once you've done that, check your answers. So I want to see minimal errors, and then you must take a photo and send it to me, okay? and then I'll when I get a chance to print, I'll be able to print and check, because I won't get your assessment task till later on at the end of the semester when we're finished. So that is assessment task 14. If you have any questions or problems while you're doing the task, please send me a message, or you can call me and you can ask questions. Okay, so I will expect that to be done, well, hopefully by Wednesday. I know some of you, struggle with time, and so by Thursday at the latest. So that's something you'll need to do. The other thing that you'll also need to do, it's not an assessment, but it's preparation for an assessment task next Thursday, which is the internet task. Okay, and last week I made a screen recording of how to use the Public Transport Victoria website, which I hope that you have all watched. And then you need to do some practice activities. Okay, there have been some students that have already done it, which is great. Well done. I won't be giving you the answers until everyone's done it. So it is a practice task, and it forms part of, it's just a practice, but next Thursday you'll actually be doing the assessment task. So it is important that you understand how to use the Public Transport Victoria website. And there are 2 practice tasks that I'd like you to do also by the end of this week, because I gave them to you last week. Now, just a few tips. I noticed that when students were writing the instructions, that for example, when you say catch the 11:07 a.m. train to Melbourne Central Station from platform 5, example. Some people put the before station. Now I'm going to send you something on Wednesday about when to use the, and we don't use the before station. So we don't say to the Melbourne Central Station. Okay, we don't use the before a station name. Now remember, at the end of the video I started to fumble a bit, it was so long, that video. About the Shrine of Remembrance, and I said, oh, you don't have to put the, because it's just simple instructions. We can omit particles and things like that, but the reason why you have to put that before, say, the Shrine of Remembrance, is because it's a name of a place. So we always put that before, usually a landmark, or like the Shrine of Remembrance, the Immigration Museum, sort of certain landmark places. We usually do put, often put that in front of it. The Melbourne Zoo. So in that case, yeah, we do put, that, but we don't put it before a station. So if you're writing your instructions, don't say catch the 11:07 a.m. train to the Melbourne Central Station, from platform 5, or catch the 11:07 a.m. train from platform 5 to the Melbourne Central Station, or to the where else was there? To the Flinders Street Station. That was another, to the Flinders Street Station. So we don't put that before a station. So just remember when you're doing that task. And don't worry if you've done it and you've made that mistake. That's fine. I'm going to send you a link to an article. It's just like a grammar information kind of website. And it's a good one too, actually. And it has when to use that and when not to use that. So it's really helpful. So when I saw that, I thought, this might be really helpful, because often students make mistakes when using the, because I often use the when it's not required, and that's a really, really common mistake. And it is hard knowing when to use these articles, the definite articles and indefinite articles, especially the. It seems to cause a lot of problems. So hopefully this website will be helpful. Now, so that's about it for now. So please do assessment task 14. Listen carefully to, I hope you've listened carefully to my instructions and tips. Rose will say that I've given you too many tips, but hopefully she won't watch this video. And then I want you to make sure you have watched the Public Transport Victoria lesson, and then do the practice tasks. Okay, So that's, I think, it's not too much. If we were in class, we would be doing the reading task in the morning and the internet task in the afternoon. So being at home, we try not to stress you out too much, but we still have quite a bit to cover. Okay, so we're doing our best. We're just going to do our best. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Just try your best. Okay, and you're doing well. Okay, so that's about it from me. So good luck, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm sure you're gonna be fine, and I'm very proud of you all for working so hard and during this really challenging time. Okay, so good night. And I know I'm looking at the camera going, oh my gosh, I look horrific, don't I? I'm sort of wearing my tracksuits and no makeup. But I guess being at home, that's what happens. So I look forward to coming back to work eventually. Anyway, that's enough from me. Okay, take care, everyone. Good luck, and let me know if you have any problems or questions. Okay, bye.